Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have the right to remain well entertained. Which aspect of a foreign culture do you wish they had in your country? I could really go for more saunas and hot springs. It would be great to have more saunas and sauna culture like Finland. And everyone, getting a minimum of 1 month off in the summer. Also Finland, free hot lunch for every kid at school and free hot lunch provided by most employers, standardized education that ensures there is no such thing as one school being better than another. BC, no funding is allowed privately or through POCs PTAs. Asian night markets. Not many places you can go in the US at night to just walk around, hang out, get some food, other than bars. Guess that's why malls used to be so popular. Japanese style vending machines. I'm in the UK and they would just be vandalized. Speaking of, the one standard Japanese thing I'd like to see in the US would be the way you interact with servers at restaurants. Rather than the onus being on the server to check up on you every few minutes, you can just call out to the server when you need them and they won't bother you outside of that. When you try to do the same thing in the US, it just feels rude, like you're specifically pointing out to your server that they're neglecting you or something. Having a siesta midday and then everyone staying up way later and hanging out. I miss pre-K and kindergarten. Forced nap time is much missed. Agreed. I'm pissed I never made use of it. Work-life balance. Working to death is not the answer in an Asian society that always wanna win or never lose face. My old company. Yearly hour-long mandatory culture seminar. Work-life balance is very important to us. Never be afraid to adjust things for a better balance. Call HR if you don't think you're being allowed to have a healthy balance. Talking to boss about the fact that I'm working, without overtime, 11-hour days and every other Saturday with no end in sight, and given that they moved which facility I worked at to one that's over 2 hours away in one direction, I'm barely having enough time to sleep, much less exist outside of work or even eat. Well, the work has to get done. I suppose if you stay even longer, then you'll get the work done faster and have more time. Ignoring that if I get more work done faster, they'll just assign me more work on the same schedule. Then talking to HR about it, you are a salaried employee, why are you whining about an extra hour here or there? Stop trying to nickel and dime the company. Frick Raytheon. Shout out to my Swedish friends. Fika is a social institution in Sweden where people take a break from work for coffee and socializing. It's about slowing down, catching up with friends, and really not being so focused on work. It's the mindset that comes with it about self-care and not overworking yourself that I find so refreshing. In North America, coffee breaks at work typically still revolve around work talk that you don't get a chance for a mental break. I'm from the Netherlands, did a semester of uni in Sweden. Here if you'd be running behind on a group project you'd Skype with your teammates in the evening to get it done. When I suggested that in Sweden, they looked at me like I had 3 heads. Loved it. The tiny little K-8 school I went to had us take Spanish from kindergarten on up. The problem was, the Spanish teacher only ever taught us the same basic crap every year. Colors, counting, and parts of the house. That lasted until I was in 6th grade and she lost it and started screaming about how we were Hell's Angels and Satanists and ran out of the room. We didn't get a new Spanish teacher after that. Cleaning up rubbish. I'm born in Ireland but I'm from Romania. They don't clean up rubbish in Romania. This is for the simple fact that there aren't empty trash bins to throw rubbish into. This is most evident in touristic areas like beaches, hiking areas and rivers. There's literally rivers filled with rubbish from tourists who don't have the decency to hold on to the rubbish. That's what I would want in Romania. I definitely agree. I grew up in Romania and there is so much beautiful nature in Romania and I don't understand why people don't protect it better. Showing the actual price of items in stores instead of having to add the tax on. At least in the States, that's apparently because each one sets their own sales tax, or doesn't have any, in places like Oregon. I guess for chain stores that would mean calculating and including tax into the price tags for 50 different places instead of letting stores add it on at the register. And customers would also be unhappy that things apparently cost more the next state over, even though it's actually the same as they would have paid anyway. Take your effing shoes off in my house. I attended an American uni that had a local campus in my country and the professors from the American campus would travel to our local campus to teach us. In one class, the professor asked us about an aspect about American culture we couldn't understand. Not taking shoes off in the house was unanimously voted as number 1. I constantly read American interpretations that suggest they think taking shoes off before entering another's house is something typical of Japanese culture. I'm pretty sure it happens almost everywhere because bringing street dirt into the house is just a very bad idea. Why would you not take your shoes off? More emphasis of quality over quantity in food. A giant cup of watered-down coffee is not as satisfying as a modest-sized but decent coffee. A giant chocolate bar made with crappy ingredients that just barely legally qualifies as chocolate is not as satisfying or a proper piece of real chocolate. It would be nice if we could have both. If I go to a fancy restaurant, the food tastes amazing but I end up leaving hungry, which is annoying. Chains taste bland, but at least I get a decent serving size. Being polite/caring for strangers as a society. I've been to roughly 20 countries, but US Americans have been by far the politest and caring people I've ever met. I don't know, but I have never felt so confident as in those 3 weeks. I have never gotten as many compliments from strangers, and I mean actual compliments, not catcalling, and have never had that many people randomly starting conversations without being drunk. It's true. 1 a.m. American. There are things that I absolutely love about people from other cultures, but when I'm out of the country for a while, I start to miss the openness and friendliness of Americans. We get teased about it in other places, but I love it. I'm glad you felt comfortable here. When I was in France, I was taken aback watching people argue about things and not getting upset with each other. As an Australian, that was one of the most refreshing things I'd ever seen. In my part of the world, people attach themselves personally to every little inconsequential opinion or viewpoint. If you challenge that viewpoint, people respond as if you're attacking them personally, and it turns to crap like clockwork. It's such a deep-seated attitude. We ended up with the phrase "no politics" at the dinner table. Someone's inevitably gonna get upset and then everyone's having a poop night. French don't give a frick. They'll debate politics, philosophy, religion, economics, all that poop until they're blue in the face. The mood never drops. You don't feel the energy in the room become more and more hostile. So that was nice. The buttons at tables in restaurants in Korea that request a server. The Yogi-Yo button. Man, I miss it every time I go to the US. As a Korean-born dude, the way you named the button was kind of funny. It seems a lot more normal in the States to go to therapy, which I wish was a thing here in the UK. Obviously there is therapy here, but from my perspective here it seems like society only thinks you should go to therapy if you have serious diagnosed issues, when in reality it can help everyone from time to time. Also bidets. Never tried one, but it makes much more sense hygiene-wise. Like, if you had poop on your hand, you wouldn't be content with just wiping it off. You'd, hopefully, properly wash your hands with soap and water. I think it depends a bit on generation, but yeah, my friends and I openly talk about therapy and even the details of our sessions. It's nice to be open about it and sometimes run through our post-therapy thoughts. We're in our 20s for reference. I know people who are 40 to 50 plus who are much less open about it. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.